The opening weekend of the NBA playoffs was absolutely amazing. There's so many themes and storylines going on in these series early on, but I think the biggest storyline so far is the injury to Giannis. Giannis exited game one of the Heat vs Bucks series after taking a nasty fall onto his back. This changes everything. If Giannis is out for the rest of the series, or even if he can play but he's compromised because of his back injury, the NBA playoffs just became wide open. I feel like the Bucks were the clear favorite and by far the best team in the league. Now some other fan bases like the Celtics might disagree, but I feel like the best player in the world being injured really opens the door for everybody else now. The Heat stealing game one is huge. After this team was ridiculed for not winning the first playing game against Atlanta, the Miami Heat can now potentially upset the Bucks and advance to the next round of the playoffs. From the report so far, it doesn't sound like Giannis is going to miss significant time. But if Giannis comes back and he's not completely himself, if it's not this round, then the Bucks will definitely get eliminated some point in the Eastern Conference playoffs. It just goes to show how meaningless the regular season can be sometimes because the Bucks played great without Giannis all year long. But in the very first playoff game this year, when Giannis goes down, the Bucks lose. And I'm sure a lot of people thought even without Giannis that the Bucks would still be able to pull it out, but nope. Jimmy Butler and the Heat take care of business in game one, and now they're up 1-0. A series that coming in looked like it was going to be a sweep just got a whole lot interesting, and you should keep an eye out on this one because it could shape out how the rest of the playoffs will look. On to the 76ers Nets series. I was very interested to see how the Nets were going to guard Joel Embiid. I personally thought they had absolutely no choice but to double team him because you can't let Embiid go one on one. I know Nick Claxton is a good defender, but that's baby food for Joel Embiid. So I thought doubling him was a no-brainer, and that's exactly what they did. And they did a great job on Embiid. 25 points on 46% shooting is a bad game for this year's MVP. The problem is when you double Embiid, you're leaving a three-point shooter open. And the 76ers made the Nets pay in game one, knocking down a franchise record 21 three-pointers. I'm very curious to see what adjustments Jacques Vaughn makes in game two. Do you stay home on all the shooters and play Embiid one-on-one? I personally think that's a recipe for disaster. If you let Embiid play one-on-one, he could literally go off for 50 points and beat you himself. Ask the Boston Celtics, who Embiid dropped 50 points on at the end of the regular season. Seeing the coach's adjustments from game to game is one of my favorite parts about the NBA playoffs. So let's see what the Nets are going to do in game two. Hawks versus Celtics, not much to say about this one. The Celtics absolutely dominated. I think this is a quick series. Keep note that Jaylen Brown aggravated his injury, but even if Jaylen Brown misses time in this series, I think the Celtics could handle the Hawks very quickly. Knicks versus Cavs. This is a lot of people's pick for what they think is going to be the best first round series. I think these two teams are evenly matched, and I think it's going 7 games. Jalen Brunson has been sensational all season long, and he's continuing his postseason success from last year. And on the other side of things, Donovan Mitchell is one of the best playoff performers, not just in the NBA today, but of all time. Donovan Mitchell, if I'm not mistaken, is top 5 in points per game in the postseason in NBA history. I think this Mitchell Brunson duel is going to be an all time classic. And it's a rematch, it's a part two of last year when these two faced off in the first round in the Jazz Mavericks series, which Brunson ended up getting the better of Mitchell. Let's see who's going to win this time. Light the beam. The Sacramento Kings were ready for their first playoff game in 16 years. Man, what a game one. De'Aaron Fox blossoming right before our very eyes on the biggest stage, dropping 38 points against the defending champions, going head to head with Steph Curry, now playing him out, dueling him. What a performance from De'Aaron Fox. This is where you make a name for yourself in this league, and that's exactly what De'Aaron Fox did in game one. And Malik Monk, 32 points off the bench is crazy. I saw a funny tweet earlier today that said something like, the Kings and the Knicks have figured out how to find success in the NBA, and it's to have two college teammates as your backcourt. And they're referring to De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, who both went to Kentucky, and Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart on the Knicks, who both went to Villanova. I think the Warriors might be in trouble here. Everyone was saying the 6th seed is what everyone wants. The Clippers, the Lakers, the Warriors were all battling for the 6th seed because everybody wanted to face Sacramento because that's the favorable matchup. The Kings don't have playoff experience. That's the team you want to face. Well, that's what the Warriors got. And I think now they're going to be dealing with the consequences of that because I don't think this is going to be an easy series at all. I still got the Warriors winning this series out of respect for Steph Curry and his greatness and that dynasty trio that they have in Golden State. But this is going to be a tough, long 7 game series, and I can't wait to watch every single minute of it. Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell. The Lakers finally have a squad. All hail to Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka, you are forgiven for all of your sins, for all the mistakes that you made the past 2 years, because the Lakers finally have a legitimate, deep squad. And the rest of the league should be worried. LeBron James has help. Can you believe that? LeBron James has help. I don't think LeBron James has ever played a playoff game in his career where 3 of his teammates scored more than him. This is just off the top of my head. I haven't looked at anything, but I'm confident 100% that there's never been a time where LeBron James had 3 teammates score more points than him in a playoff game, because he is always required to do the most for his team to win. LeBron had 21 points today. Anthony Davis had 22 points. Rui Hachimura had 29 points. And Austin Reeves had 23 points. LeBron scored 21 points in a playoff game, and his team won by 16. Can you believe that? When has that ever happened? This shows me that LeBron James has help. He doesn't have to be the guy and shoulder and carry everything on his back. And that's what he needs. At age 38, he can't carry the load. He needs a team that's able to win games where he can cruise control until it's absolutely needed deeper in the playoffs. LeBron can play in cruise control until they absolutely need him to go crazy. That's a scary sight for the rest of the league. Austin Reeves, the way he closed the game down the stretch, he looked like he was a superstar in the league for 10 years plus. I made a video at the start of the season about how Austin Reeves' development was going to be critical for the Lakers' success this year. When I made that video, I did not think that Austin Reeves was going to improve this much. My expectations were for him to just knock down open shots and improve on defense. But this guy has taken the role of the closer on the Lakers and the third best player on the Lakers. Austin Reeves has been sensational. This guy's closing playoff games with LeBron James and Anthony Davis as his teammate. That shows you how much trust they have in him and how good they believe he is to entrust him to take those shots in playoff games. Rui knocking down wide open shots for the Lakers was huge. This is all I've ever asked, all I've ever wanted for a LeBron James team, is for him to have depth and a multitude of options. I'm tired of seeing LeBron James carry the load, carry teams on his back all the time. That's not fair to ask one man to do. I know he's the GOAT, but to expect all that from one man, why can't he get some help? He finally has a multitude of options at his disposal. Tonight, it was Rui and Austin. Tomorrow, it could be D'Lo. The day after that, it could be Dennis Schroeder. The day after that, it could be Jared Vanderbilt. The Lakers are a deep squad, and it's absolutely scary for the rest of the league. When asked about Rui Hachimura shooting in a post-game interview, Desmond Bane said that was the game plan. We wanted to leave him wide open. I think that was the best game he's ever played in his entire life. But it's a 7 game series. Let's see if he can do that again on Wednesday. Well, let's see if Rui can do it again. Clippers vs. Suns is another series I think a lot of people have as their favorite to be the best series in the first round. And game 1 was pretty good. Kawhi Leonard puts the team on his back. No Paul George, no problem. 38 points for Kawhi Leonard, and the Clippers steal game 1. Fun fact, that was the first game 1 that Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton lost in their careers. I think a lot of people saw the names on the paper and assumed that the Suns would absolutely dominate this series and the playoffs and win the championship. I saw a lot of people saying Suns in 5, Suns in 4, but I think this is going to be a long series. Put some respect on Kawhi Leonard's name, please. He was never getting swept. Never. I had my concerns about the Suns' depth going into the series, and Torrey Craig, who started, dropped 22 points, but they literally got nothing from their bench. It was their starters. KD played a hell of a lot of minutes. Their starters scored the bulk of their points. Outside of that, they got no help from their bench. Shout out to Russell Westbrook. This is where you can tell the difference between people who just look at the box score and people who actually watch the game. Because people who look at the box score will say, Russell Westbrook, he played terrible. He shot 3 for 16. How's that a good game? Yes, Russell Westbrook didn't affect the game with his scoring, but Russell Westbrook made winning plays throughout the game and down the stretch. He crashed the offensive glass, winning multiple possessions for the Clippers. He finished with 10 rebounds. He played stellar defense from start to finish. He was locking up KD in the first quarter. You can only hold KD for so long, but he did as good of a job you can do on Kevin Durant. And down the stretch, he had a clutch block on Devin Booker and threw it off of Devin Booker, saving it from going out on the Clippers and winning possession for the Clippers. Russell Westbrook played a fantastic game down the stretch. I think this is going to be an upset. I have the Clippers winning in 7, and if Paul George can come sooner than later, then I think the Suns are in big trouble. I'm currently recording this during the Nuggets Timberwolves game, so I can't really give you a recap or my takes on the game. Right now, the Nuggets are up, and I think the Nuggets are going to make quick work of the Timberwolves in 5 games. So that's my thought on that series. But there you have it. That's my take on an exciting opening weekend. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for more content. It's your boy Hawass, aka the B-Ball Files. Peace.